The first and primary rule, you cannot issue a reversal simply because the funds aren't available to pay a payroll. That is not a reason for reversal.
Welcome in, everybody. You're listening to Wrestling Payment.
All the steps should have been taken prior to that file hitting the network to not allow an ODFI and or originator to say, oh, never mind. There's some repercussions in this case, maybe an injury that we're going to have to talk about afterwards. But let's read the case. This is a real interesting case. Really happened. There's a lot of lessons to be learned here from originator and third-party sender underwriting and monitoring. How do you know if you're an ODFI? How would you know that a third-party sender isn't doing this? How would you know? So let's talk about the case. The claim: Norton Bank, a receiving financial institution for some of Macklin Development employees. They're the RDFI for Macklin Development employees. They began to receive numerous phone calls from their customers complaining about the reversal of payroll credit. In some cases, Norton Bank customers had received multiple payroll reversals. Yes, I said that. They got their regular payroll. They then received the reversal of that payroll and received another reversal of that payroll. What, you say? How could that happen? Let's see. So the background of the case: Macklin Development began receiving phone calls from their employees. So not only did the bank start receiving phone calls, the company started, the originator started receiving phone calls. They began receiving phone calls from their employees complaining about payroll funds being withdrawn as ACH reversals from their bank accounts. Having employed Workforce Assist to handle all of the payroll needs, Macklin Development reached out to Workforce Assist to determine if they were aware of any issues with the company payroll. Macklin Development confirmed that its account had been debited for the company's payroll. So if you're aware, typically a day or two before payroll, a third-party sender, a third-party service provider, probably a third-party service provider in this case, would debit the funds out of Macklin's account to fund the payroll and then send out the credits. Calls to Workforce Assist went unanswered. Not a good sign. Macklin Development contacted its financial institution, Crawford Bank, for advice on how to address this issue. Crawford Bank's advice was for Macklin employees to work directly with their respective financial institutions and request that the reversals be returned as unauthorized. Okay, so what they're saying is all the receivers should go to the bank and say, those reversals are unauthorized, send them back. Due to the increasing customer phone calls and withdrawn wages, Norton Bank, a receiving financial institution for some of Macklin Development's employees, filed a notice of possible ACH rules violation against the ODFI of the reversal, Simon Bank. It's a very good point, very good thing. I do not imagine this happened between the phone calls from the receivers. I imagine this was after the fact, after they figured out what happened. They did file the notice of possible rule violation.